Good evening, Line Golf Academy community and guests. I've got a great video for you today. Mr. Dave Benford on the screen here. He's an aspiring long drive champion, and I believe he will make some waves pretty soon looking at this swing. I reached out to him through Instagram as I saw his post, and I thought, it would be great if I could put his video on screen to show you how he develops so much power. So I asked him for permission, and he was super cool about it and said, no problem. He looks forward to seeing what we can learn from his motion. So what we're going to look at is something that I'm trying to preach on and on to my students. Is about footwork, how footwork creates power, how weight transfer creates power, how stability creates power, and you can do it if you're swinging for the fences. However, what you see here is I would not really recommend trying to do right off the bat, because you might do some damage to your body. And as usual, always consult your PGA pro. With him or her, they'll figure out if this is the right move for you, because obviously you have to be built a certain way to pull off this move. Just by looking at this, my lower back hurts. You can see Dave is a pretty strong guy, pretty tall. He has a lot on his side to help him with this motion. Very athletic, great balance work, and you'll see why. He develops an immense amount of power, but he's still able to stay relatively balanced with the amount of power that he produces. So you see I drew a couple lines here. I drew his spine angle line, I drew his plane line, and you'll see I drew it higher because actually when he takes that motion, he sets his hands a little bit higher there. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to connect his club with his forearms, and this is a typical position for people that hit it long. Mo Norman made this pretty popular, and I'm sure it was around before him, but he made it popular because he believed that once it's one line, it's all connected, it's a lot simpler to keep that club moving back and forth. And I drew that line through his body so you can see how relatively straight it is in terms of his hand position. So now I chose to draw the back brace line here just to show how much he's actually able to stay pretty close to that line while delivering an extreme amount of power. So let's just take it off from the backswing here. Here you can see that arm just running right at that plane line. Club gets a little bit sucked inside of him, but he's just trying to set it early. But more importantly, look at that left arm. It's just following that line all the way to the top, all the way to the top, all the way to the top. Butt of the club is right on that line again. So he's able to get an immense amount of turn. You can see almost both hips are pointing at us, shoulders are turning a lot, so his whole back's at the target. Just to get to this position is pretty impressive while maintaining some posture. You can see he's still in that spine angle line. His spine angle's risen a little bit just because his left shoulders is risen up, so he's trying to get a lot of turn. So it's really hard to get your left shoulders to stay down while you turn that much. So to release some of that tension that you build up, you typically see a little bit of a raise so we can get more turn. So if you are struggling with turn, try and raise a little bit, it might help you out. But be cautious because it could start another set of problems. So make sure you consult your pro before you do that. So there's his new spine, new shoulder tilts a little bit higher. Now from this position, he can just go ahead and turn, right? But what he does is he does what a lot of these long drive competitors do, is they don't turn, they squat, they sit. They're going down into the golf ball. And when you go down into the golf ball, you are compressing all the power that you're turning and establishing with the weight transfer. You're compressing it into a smaller motion so that he can explode up into the golf ball. So we'll see that immediately. Here is the sit. So he basically goes from here and he just sits straight down. He doesn't lean down, he doesn't topple over, he's just sitting. So he's maintaining his centeredness. And that is a pretty impressive thing. And what's more impressive is as he is sitting, his arms just come down naturally from that sitting. So he's basically keeping his whole body the same, and how he's keeping that club on plane to go down is he's aiding it by sitting, which is quite genius if you think about it. Instead of just pulling your arms down while you're turning, you keep everything the same and you sit, and that keeps the club on plane. So that's a really special motion. Club drops in the plane right there, so that is just beautiful. You can see he's back and his spine angle. So from here, he's ready. He's built up the force. He's sitting down. He's compressing all that force down in a small area. And from here, there's only one way to go, and that's to tilt under and push with his legs. So this is where all that ground force is being stolen, and this is where that happens right here. So this from here to here is where he's just pushing. So the right side's compressing. See how that right side's compressing down while the left side's being delivered all that power and pushing that left shoulder up. So he's like compressing one side and then it's exploding out the left side. And that's how you deliver your power correctly. So you have to think about power as a little animal. You're controlling it, and the power is going to escape from the least point of resistance. So if you pressure down the right side, it can't escape there, so it has to go out the left side. So that'll really help you if you're struggling with some distance. But his left arm, you can see it's still in that plane. So he's still keeping that established. That's right at impact. Look at it, still on that same line. He's still in his spine angle, his original spine angle. He's pretty close to that brace line. What you'll see here now is once compression is made, contact is made, the rest is just momentum. There's so much power going through that. His body's actually pulling back away from the ball, which is great because he's elongating that action, so he has to really extend and keep that width of arc instead of compressing. Some of the videos I've shown you lately, we seem to go into the golf ball and you're actually eliminating the room to pull through. You need to think like a catapult. As you if you spin around a catapult, there's actually energy inside of the catapult that's building up by you spinning around. And if you go towards the ball as it spins around, you lose a lot of that pressure. But if you pull away as the ball spins around, that's how you get immense amount of pressure. And that's what he's basically doing. Watch his footwork from here. So as he strikes the golf ball, his left foot, if he keeps that left foot down, he's going to do some damage to his left knee, or he's going to roll his ankle. So what does he have to do? He has to just release that by taking his left foot up and taking it in front. So look, his whole body is facing the target. It's almost like he's standing there watching his golf motion. So that's what's required to take some of that pressure away, because if he doesn't, he's going to do some damage to himself. And then the rest is just basically momentum. So he's still in that spine angle, which is really good. And look, he's gone over his left brace line. So you can see how he's pulling away from the ball as he's turning and tilting, which is really hard to do. So, you'll see this name pretty soon. Long drive. It's really phenomenal. Let's see what we can see from the front view. Okay, so here's his front view. It's not directly in front, but that's okay. It's 3/4 front, which is actually a pretty cool place to see. And we're just going to watch that swing in full motion just to see what it's like. Yeah, perfect. All right, so a couple things we can learn from this view is this subtle little weight shift. So as he gets hit the golf, his hands go a little bit higher and he pushes his weight left. You can see that right foot kind of coming up. So this is his trigger. So he's going from left and then he goes right. So it's almost like a rocking effect to make sure you get all the weight going to the right side. And you see a lot of new competitors in the long drive region do this. They almost step left and step back right to make sure that they get in this rhythm. And it's more for rhythm for him, but it definitely helps him promote his weight to the right side. So here's shifting all his weight to the right side. Now he's going to get ready by going left already to make sure he's centered. And here comes that squat. There's that squat. So it's just going straight down. And now he goes back and up. So his spine angle changes quite a lot. And if it was from the front, we'd be able to see. But let's just try and do what we can with this view. It's a little bit hard, but we'll see what we can do. So spine angle looks like, I'm going to draw it here. Okay, so it's slightly back. But what we'll see here is as he comes back into the target, let me just make sure that stays. Sorry. What we see is when he comes back into the target is that spine angle now shifts the other way. Right there. So look at that new spine angle. And we only accomplish that by driving up. You can see the energy going up through his body. And there's only one way. While this goes this way, spine angle falls back. That allows his, he's now swinging on the upswing. So that's how they get that huge launch angle. And then from here, watch that left foot again. I believe it's almost going to come off the air right there. So almost both feet at this point are in the air. Laura Davies, I don't know if you're familiar with that name. She was an incredibly long ball hitter on the PGA Tour. Both of her feet would actually be in the air. Both feet are like floating in the air as she's striking the golf ball. She did very similar things to this. She was a pioneer on the LPGA. She would hit it almost as far as the guys in the PGA. She was so long. Still to this day, I believe she still plays competitively. But this is something that you guys can just watch and really just steal some ideas from. Again, just ideas and theories just to help you with your motions. Do me a favor, don't try this without somebody supervising you. I don't want to have to answer a bunch of emails saying, I'm sorry, I can't play golf anymore, I ruined my lower back because I watched your video. This is not for you to try. This is you to just see and maybe steal some ideas for your own swing and see how you can try and get some more distance, but make sure you're with your professional and make sure that they also see eye to eye with this, because again, this is just my theory and it's not really set in stone. If you like this, guys, just let me know, because I can reach out to more people and see if they'll submit their videos. But either way, we have that Reddit submission, so if you do have videos, I'll leave the link of the email to send it to. We just need a front view and down the line, and I'll take care of the rest. But thanks again for your support. Hope you enjoy this. Go check out Dave's YouTube channel as well. I'll put that in the bottom. He's got some cool stuff there too. Wish him well too. Thank you so much. Fairways and greens, everyone.